been provided by consultants that have been reviewed by the town. So there is,
We already did all that.
we've been over this time and time again,
Yes.
and now there's a group of people from the Sturbridge and the Charlton office who aren't happy with something going on in Charlton, and they're complaining in Sturbridge, so I don't know what to say.
Well, the noise is coming from Charlton, there's no doubt of
How do you know
that.
that, John?
It's pretty clear. I
How's
mean,
it clear to you?
it's racing noise. I heard it at my house.
You heard it at your house.
I did, I heard it inside.
We all
I heard it inside.
heard
These people all
3
heard
miles away, I
it. They
heard
were all here.
Okay.
They were all hearing it.
Jim?
Mr. Chairman, if there's a violation of the noise complaint, I will inform the board.
And
At this time, I have no violations to inform the board.
we got violations, and we call Jim, and he will call the board.
Thank you. We will be distributing the phone number and.
And we've been through this and through it and through it and through it. Yes. go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on clarification, because in order to determine if you exceed the 10 decibel limit that DEP has imposed on the entire state over ambient sound, you have to take the measurement when the sound is occurring.
Right.
So if the motocross motorcycles are running from 10 until 3 o'clock, and they're making a horrendous sound, and we call them and someone doesn't show up until 5 o'clock, there's no sound, no problem. That is a big problem.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. Go ahead, Jim.
You know, I am the health director here, and I try to respond in timely fashion to any complaint. But at some point in time, I'm away and I'm not available.
Well, I understand that.
I cannot run 7 days a week every time someone calls me at all hours on a Sunday that I'm gonna stop my life and run out. I do have the DEP's calibrated meter, and I will check, but this meter is very difficult, because if I sit in your driveway and a car goes by, it pegs. If there's nothing there, it's fine. So it's so sensitive to the point, and if 50 Harleys are going by in the road on Brookfield Road, there's no sense in even taking it, because I have to get a reading from inside and then come back on the outside and in order to get a true reading, I need to enter into the backyard and around the building to make sure I get an accurate reading. And am I gonna get there within an hour or 2 hours? I can't promise you all the time I'm gonna be there in 30 minutes, whatever. I do have my own life, and this happened on Sunday. Saturday they were closed. I wasn't available on Sunday. I'm in the process of moving and doing things, and I didn't speak to Jamie until Monday, but this is only the second event, and we're working on trying to resolve, but I didn't see any issues on the first event. I attended the first event. I waited, I walked around, it did get 3 complaints, but those are complaints, whether they're justified or not, or merited as a noise complaint. I have not documented that.
Good.
When Jim and I met last week, I don't know who to address this to, you or you guys, but we actually had scheduled that on Saturday, when we thought the event was supposed to occur, if either one of us received complaints, even if it was a non-Sturbridge complaint or a non-Charlton complaint, that both of us would respond so that there were 2 of us to witness whatever happened on the noise meter. Nothing happened on Saturday. So we had planned for Saturday. We had a game plan if we needed it.
Yep.
So
Through
I
the
felt
chair.
like we were trying to.
Good.
That's okay.
Through the chair. Jim, just a minute ago, you talked about you were at the event on April 22nd. I think was the
Yep.
date. I just want to clarify, were you there as a resident / spectator, or were you there on behalf of the Charlton Board of Health?
I was there on behalf of the Charlton Board of Health to conduct inspections of the food, all the food carts and stuff to make sure they were in compliance. So, and I was there for quite a while. Rode around, went out to the podunk and stuff, and even the police did not receive a complaint from a Charlton resident. That next week, 2 weeks later, when they have another event, it seemed like it was different. And I did, we had spoken, and it was very cooperative to say, yeah, the only thing that was maybe different is there was more Harleys at this event, which we discussed, and that they may go out the other road rather than Brookfield Road to limit them idling and on that street, correct?
One event, a lot of our traffic went out Lad Road. The next event, which had a lot of Harleys at it, came out on Brookfield Road. Now, once traffic leaves our facility, we have no control over it. And if someone wants to rev their engine louder than they're supposed to on public streets, that's certainly not our issue. That's got nothing to do with us. If a Harley's on a road and there's a noise complaint from it, then that's what it is. And potentially, maybe that's what John heard. Maybe that's what some of these other neighbors heard. Because police, fire, Jim, they all listened at different points in time while the event was going on, and there were no issues. Even the Sturbridge police officer, he showed up for his detail post on Land Road. He did not hear the event going on. He didn't hear anything. He was like, am I in the right spot? He drove up Lad Road. He came in and he said, I didn't hear anything. I didn't even think anything was going on at this event today. And so
Which day was that?
I'm sorry?
Which day was that?
That was opening day. April
Oh,
22nd.
yeah, okay.
They do what they
Right.
It's, we have no jurisdiction. And, I was at Ronnie's the other day, and I was getting ice cream. The motorcycles are going by, I couldn't even stand it. But that's a public road,
Yep.
and there's nothing you can do about it.
And police and fire both reported back to the selectmen, and even Ron Charette. Ron Charette wrote a letter to the selectmen and said he had no issue whatsoever. He didn't hear anything from his house. That's on TV, it's a recorded meeting. I mean, you guys can watch it, maybe, you know.
But
you guys
Sunday,
can
that was
search
that
and go on
story.
the internet, check it out, so.
That was, yes.
Yes.
The first weekend wasn't bad, the second weekend was horrible.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you what, on the second weekend, I drove up Lad Road, Podunk, I couldn't hear anything.
Then you're
That's
down
where
in
you
the chair?
folks live?
Through the
Absolutely
chair?
not.
Seriously?
Absolutely not.
We have a question for
Go ahead.
Stanley.
May I show you what I heard during this
Is
event?
this the motorcycles on the outside,
This is in my yard,
in your yard?
in my yard.
And in her
John,
house.
And in my house, this is in her house.
and you were up there at the time?
No, I received it from her
Oh, you,
audible,
okay.
but you can't tell from an audible over the.
May I share it with you?
Can we
How do
use
we know
that?
what
Yeah,
that
sure.
is? That's ridiculous.
From her back window.
This is my window from my house.
I did receive it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I did respond to you.
That's my back deck. This is my window from inside my house videotaping.
And that's facing where the
That's
racetrack
facing the
would be.
racetrack in the back of my
The
yard.
other
And
place there.
what house are you on?
6 Sydney Circle,
Sydney Circle. Okay.
that's in my house. I'm sorry I didn't call Jim to come down,
Yes.
but I didn't know the protocol, what I was supposed to do. I was besides myself. I went in the house, closed the door, put this in the window for it to record because I couldn't stand being out in my yard anymore.
From now on, get Jim coming.
From now on,
She did email me, I got her on Monday though, so.
You didn't get up there in time to get it, so we
Oh, I
got.
didn't
Well, it
get
was Sunday anyway, so you were busy moving and.
Yeah.
but
But I
this
did
is in my
respond
house.
to the people that
Yeah, I know.
contacted back.
It's not motorcycles going down 49
No.
or down, this is in my yard, in my house. You know, and these things need to be addressed. I mean, I understand they want to enjoy their property. I'd like to enjoy my property.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask 2 questions? One, do you have any authority as this board in Charlton to contact the enforcement officer through the planning board, which I believe is the zoning enforcement officer, and request under the guidance that I was provided by DEP that that individual also investigate so that it doesn't only have to fall to a nuisance investigation for Charlton's Board of Health to investigate? Maybe that would help give another person's point of view and another enforcement officer of the town at some point. This is one thing to consider. And the second thing, I've never met the gentleman from 508, so if I could just share with you what DEP shared with me. The complaints
Sure,
that seemed to
absolutely.
come in from Sturbridge, the first event that you had, seemed to be music related and I guess voiceover related, not necessarily related to the bikes. And so DEP, Michelle Delmar felt like that was kind of a great thing to be the case because you are gonna be working out the bugs is what she told me. You're gonna be figuring out what works and what doesn't. She said if it's music related, sometimes the music on site doesn't sound as loud as it might across to a neighbor that maybe, depending on the weather and everything, it might travel. So you might be able to adjust the volume a little bit, but she said it will amplify far further when someone's talking than when music's on, so you just have to remember to adjust accordingly when you have an announcer kind of giving updates and things like that versus the music. And so she said, She knows it might be difficult, she knows there might be some contention going on, obviously DEP's not unaware of that, but she said it's really a better situation if it's music related, because you have a lot that you can control on site that might help everybody, including you involved. She said Sutton went through it with the campgrounds, if you wanted to know who they were and talk to them about how they kind of figured it out, I can get you that information.
That would be great.
And then she also suggested Templeton has a race facility of some point, maybe you already know, maybe you know better than I do. But she said they kind of went through a couple of hiccups as they were going through their opening. And there were a lot of different sides to things, and they were able to work through things by figuring out which pieces of equipment were coming with different mufflers and things like that. So maybe you would want to talk to Templeton also, if you already know them. But she thought that that might give you some assistance to try to work this out for everybody, including you guys, in a quicker and amenable fashion.
It'd be great to stop in and visit.
Okay. Sure.
Since I'm one of the complainants, I
Sure.
want to correct the record. It
Okay.
wasn't just the music or the loudspeaker, that was bad.
Okay.
But it was the, whatever, the mud bogging machines that weren't approved by the county board, it was the motorcycles, it was everything.
Okay, the complaint came through to me in writing, and I didn't listen to it on the machine as music related, so.
That wasn't it.
Okay.
I think as far as Jamie's request that, I asked Kurt, the zoning enforcement officer, Kurt knows what to do. I don't think I'm going to ask him how to do his job. He knows what he has to do, and if he chooses not to, that's his choice. But I'll continue to do my job, and if Kurt chooses not to go, then someone else can address it, but I won't.
I didn't mean like tell him how to do his job, I kind
No,
of
but
just meant.
he might take it,
communicate.
he knows that he has to, he issued the permit, so.
Okay, I just thought maybe if you shared the complaints that you get, it gives him an opportunity to.
I understand, but
know.
I
We
think
talked
we
about
talked
this
about it,
already.
so.
We did.
yeah.
Okay, so just to reiterate, folks should not be calling Charlton Police, correct? No.
Charlton Police are on site.
I know
Yeah,
that.
but if they have a noise complaint
Strictly through the
regarding
board.
any noise complaint, but remember, we also take noise complaints from the residents of Eleanor Lane, H Foot Road, and Berry Corner Road, and we log there were probably over 100 at this point in time, maybe more. And the DEP gets all the complaints because it's under their jurisdiction, because it's in Southbridge, and we've been asking Mary Jude Pigsley what she's gonna do about it. And DEP's done absolutely nothing for the past 10 years. Nothing.
Well, now you've got this.
Well, they have, this is their
$1,000.
meter,
Yeah, but now you've got
but they've
this.
chose
You
to
can
do
go on
absolutely
up.
nothing on that. So as far as thinking that they're going to step forward all of a sudden for 508 or anyone else, it would be less than,
You don't have to wait for DEP. I heard Mary Jude Pigsley at the councilman meeting in Southbridge
I just think that.
a month or two ago. And you know what she said? She said, she pointed to the local boards, and she said the local boards have the authority if you want to
They
get
do.
something done. So the local boards, if you want to go after Casella, you could take that meter that's calibrated by them when there's noise out there and want.
My authority lies at the border of Southbridge, and the landfill is not in Charlton, so I.
But if it comes
would be-
across town lines,
I
that's
still,
when,
I still cannot cross a line, and I have no authority, I'm not the
you
appointed
don't have
board,
to,
so.
just sit there with the meter. I'll bring
She
in,
knows.
I'll bring in the
Andrea
state
once a
law.
week, Andrea, I know the laws very well, but Andrea gives to Mary Jude Pigsley all the noise complaints once a week. She says thank you every week, and then I ask her once a month what she's going to do, and she does nothing. So I wouldn't hold my breath that DEP's gonna do anything as far as a noise complaint, they want us to do it. If it's in Southbridge, Andy Pelletier, which I speak to and been with him, he says he's not doing anything, he's waiting for the DEP, so.
It's a catch-22.
You're right.
So I would suggest, if I could, if these people are hearing a lot of noise, take that meter out there, get some meter readings and say, their bulldozers and whatever are too loud. And then if the DEP don't do anything, then these people should get a lawyer and go after them for being a noisome trade or whatever.
Well, I think even if it's a violation, all I can do is give them a written notice of a violation of the noise
Right.
exceedance.
But
I have
if
no
you do-
authority to shut them down. I don't have that type of authority. That's what Jamie's trying to say. The nuisance complaint bylaw is limited as far as I can issue them a $25 fine, send them a letter, or like she's asking, maybe that zoning, who issued the permit. But I don't think we're there at this point. I think this is something new, and I think that you have to give everyone time to get their feet to the ground and make sure that everything is followed through on. And I think they're trying to be they're like any other business that, it's not who it is, it's what it is. And if there's something wrong, then I will act on it and come before this board. But until that time, I have nothing to report.
And I, through the chair, I didn't tell you guys we're having another event in, not this coming weekend, the following. Listen, stay in touch with the board and let them know. So,
Is that gonna be motocross racing, or is that just a sports
Which one, the next one is gonna be what?
endurance? There's no motor
Yeah, what
racing.
kind of event?
Come on out and check it out.
No,
It's open to the
which-
public.
Are you having motorcycle
Will there
races
be
there?
motorcycle
or-
races that
I'm
day?
gonna keep it a secret, keep you
Yeah,
guys
it's
in
So the answer is no, there will be no motocross
No.
racing,
No,
no
no
mud
motocross.
bogging, no none of that.
We don't know.
Evidently.
We
It's
don't,
on their website, there's no.
we don't know, but I'll be up there next time.
Is it both Saturday and Sunday?
Yes.
And, anything else?
We have one more question from the.
Yeah, there's been, Emily Speltzer, Brookfield Road, there's been a lot of discussion about Sturbridge people shouldn't be here, except they're being bothered too. And how come we don't have a sign-in sheet? There's a lot of us from Charlton here as well.
Sign-in sheet's right here, ma'am.
Well, it wasn't
I'm
passed
sorry.
around like
Yes,
sometimes.
that's my fault, I should have had you sign it.
Well, it's very hard to, believe it.
I know, I just.
Everyone sign in, please, okay? It's right, it's always on the front.
Anything else?
I'm all set.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Are you going to have someone in charge if you're not available on their weekends?
Someone from the, if someone, I'm not available, someone from the board will be available. I'll inform the chairman if I'm not around, and the chairman will assign maybe a board member or something or himself. He's the boss. So if I'm not around to take a complaint, you're saying that I would absolutely inform the chairman that I'm not gonna be here.
If they ain't gonna be up there, I'll be up there the next race.
Are you trained to use the sound
Yes.
level meter? Is the chairman trained
The
also?
meters, I'll make sure he's trained properly. The meter's self-explanatory, but it's very difficult if there's, like, if you're on the road and cars are coming by, or if you're on the Podunk Pike, it's just gonna peg, so you have to try and centralize it to the area, like doing someone's yard, would go in your backyard and stand at the window that you had that in, and that I would measure from there, that's a true read, but
That's what you should do.
And you're
Well,
gonna
then,
measure
I-
for the pure tone condition too?
excuse me?
There's two parts to the noise regulation. One is it can't be 10 decibels above the ambient.
I'm very well aware of the regulations, sir.
Okay, so you're gonna be measuring for the pure tone condition too?
This belongs to the DEP, this is what they use, if you call them, he gave it to me, Mr. John Chronopoulos, showed me how to use it, it's a little different than what I used. It's been calibrated properly and properly labeled, so, yes.
But
What did
yeah,
you
the
get for
The question
ambient?
specifically is not just measuring, for the 10 decibels over ambient. I'm asking if you are going to measure for the pure tone condition.
We will measure whatever is necessary to make sure that it does not exceed the noise tolerance level that's set forth by the planning board in their original agreement with the planning board and zoning.
See, this is new, this is the first time out, so we don't know what's going on, you know what I mean? Okay, go ahead.
Through the chair, the ambient level, are you gonna be going by what, the peer review and the noise testing?
I have the noise testing for you.
I mean, as far as what was at Sydney Circle. And then when you come to my house, when I have a complaint, you're gonna compare it 10 decibels over what that is?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I heard there was,
They did go to your end of your street, they sat there for a while along with the,
for the mock testing?
no, Sunday. At the end of Sydney
Who
Circle.
went Sunday?
The state police, the EPA police,
I was home all
no, they didn't go to your house. They were at the end of your street.
And they were
And what
taking
did
sound
they-
level reads?
What were
No,
they there for?
just to get a consensus of the neighborhood of if the noise was coming out, but no. But I didn't get your complaint, Amy, I apologize until Monday, because I would've went to your house, so, okay?
Did you take an what the ambient reading is?
The ambient reading has already been established.
By
in the
whom?
report. By a,
HIP?
no, a sound testing company. Would you like a copy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, would you like a copy?
No, that's my wife.
Oh, okay.
I would like one if possible, please, Jim.
Sure.
Through the chair again. So if you were to come to my house and see that it did go over the limit, what are the procedures after that as far as?
I would inform my contact that these are the exceedance of tolerance, what can they do to mitigate it? And I would give it to them in writing.
So in my error, nothing can be done now because I didn't have you guys come?
Well,
Is that what?
I did get your video, which is taken at the time, so I did listen to it, and it seemed quite loud, but I have to, unfortunately, wait till the next time, and you'd have to call me, and I would come out. But you have my cell phone, I have business cards right there, call me, and someone, if not myself, a board member, or someone would, I would take action. I act on all complaints, you know, whether they're justified or not. And the meter would speak for itself, and you're welcome. I usually would take a picture of the meeting of the reading while you're there and document it in the report and staple it to it, so there's no question.
Thank you very, very, very much for coming.
This document here is about the mock test, the 50-foot bypass test, which is completely different than measuring at a point of receptor of a resident.
Why are you getting angry, sir?
I'm not getting angry, I'm just trying to project it so you
I'm
can
very well
hear.
aware of the situation of the rules and regulations of the planning board set forth for their permit, and the planning board also has responsibility. I'm only to act on a nuisance complaint, take the readings, and act. There's no reason that you need to get upset.
Maybe I should talk a little quieter then.
Thank you.
Okay. May I approach? I have a document that I'd like to give to the board.
Come on up.
This is the letter to Mr. Jennings on June 9th from the CTA sound study that was commissioned by Mr. Jennings. And I just gave the page that really is important here, which shows a chart. You've been excused, so I don't have a copy for you.
You want to make some more for you?
No, that's enough, I got a copy. But you'll notice here, Sydney Circle, which is the one in question,
Yep.
today anyway, which is R13, it clearly states that the Mass DEP limit in DBA is
48.
48.
Yep.
Just so there's no misunderstanding. Thank you.
That's good to have. I'll put it in the meter.
Thank you. Okay, we will act on anything that we hear, or we'll be up to Eddie.
I don't know if you already said this, do you mind if I just say this? The meter only works dependent upon the weather, so
Correct.
just in case you all don't already know this about meter, maybe you all do, because maybe you've already done your homework on this, but if the weather is even slightly raining whatsoever,
Can't take it.
you can't use the meter at all. It will ruin it, and it's an unbelievably expensive meter, so
10,000.
I just.
I've been warned, and if it's raining, which it was on Sunday, I'm not to take the meter out. I cannot leave it in my car, and if someone steals it, guess what?
You can't even use an umbrella, the moisture
No,
level
it's
will
the
impact.
moisture level, and believe me, this weekend was, I wouldn't have taken it out, because I've been warned, and during the instructions, you're absolutely right. If it's raining in any way and I take this out, I'm gonna ruin it, and it's $10,000 for the meter, so.
I just wanted that point of clarification.
Thank you.
Through the chair again. Was the 50, they're supposed to have a area set up where they test out every vehicle, every item, everything that's gonna be run on the track, and it has to pass in order to be able to use on the track. Was that enforced that day? Was it being used?
I'm not aware of any of those rules, that's
Ma'am.
planning board and stuff. I'm there to act on a nuisance complaint. I'm not aware of any of those specialized, and I've read but I'm not there to act on whether he's checked on this or whatever. I'm there to act on you as a resident issuing a complaint on a nuisance complaint, that's it.
There's nothing.
So if
We
you,
don't know if
that's,
that's-
you'd have to speak to the planning board or the zoning enforcement agent,
Thank you.
okay?
Through the chair, for your information, we can provide such. There is nothing stating that we have to provide that area.
I didn't see it,
We can
so.
provide the planning board decision for you It's online, actually, you can check it out, it's posted, so it's right on the town website. So, and the conditions are in there, I'm sure you're well aware.
Okay, well, thank you very much for all coming. Appreciate it, and we'll do what we have to do.
Jim, department head reports?
Put this right in here, so I have it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
$10,000, Jim?
Yeah. I left it in my car while I was moving.
Transplant.
Okay, have a good day.
Okay, Jim, head reports.
Give my train of thought back.
Gotta dig down a little ways for that.
Yep. I received today another complaint in regards to all the clothing bins in town. The police chief received a complaint. Problem is that Earth Aid is out of business.
What is that, Dad?
That's not, actually, it's Carroll Hill Road and Route 20, ADT Automotive.
Okay.
But you're right, there is one at Dad's, and the one further up, I had them all taken out.
Okay.
They're gonna install a camera here, and this one's gonna be taken out, and they're gonna clean this up tomorrow.
Oh, those are mattresses.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it right at ADT?
It's on, actually, it's town property.
Okay,
It's too close to the road,
okay.
so.
I'm very tight with Bruce that owns it, so
Oh,
if you
okay.
need me to communicate with him.
You can tell Bruce that Earth Aid
Mhm.
is out of business, and if he wants to take that dumpster and bring it out to,
Scrap it or whatever?
scrap it,
Okay.
and we'd appreciate it. They already did it on, the owner of the property,
um,
on the corner of Oxbow Road and Route 20, he scrapped it.
but I'm responsible.
You call them, they're out of business, Planet Aid will tell you they're out of business, and Boys and Girls Club, I speak to them, they are still in business, but it's because of Planet Earth Aid, that dumpster is packed. So, but if you know him,
I know him, I could make a call or whatnot.
and he crushed it and got money for it. He had, matter of fact, the guy picked it up for nothing.
Yes. I mean, he's got scrap in cars,
Yeah,
and he's got a way to move that.
He's got a way to move it, but it's one of the issues, dealing with, I talked, like I said, I talked to Gary today about this, and I will tell Robin that the board has, and Gary recommended that it did get signed, all of it. She was worried that some were.
Just curious, do you know why the board, the chair doesn't sign that?
I thought it would be the chair, but I don't know, because it's a financial thing, and it's supposed to come from the town administrator. But I thought there'd be at least a co-signature from the board or a recommendation, but Gary, as you can see, Gary has it, it's not Gary that wrote it, it's Ben Gould,
Yeah, right.
the OSP. I guess because she's,
Shut the door, please. We're having a meeting.
Jamie, thank you for coming out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I really wanted to sit in the back of the room. You guys kind
Said I'm not
of
talking.
cornered me.
Hot seat.
so, also, I tried to talk to Robin about the administrative consent order that was signed, but, it's not signed yet, so I can't talk about it, so. And also, like I said, I did go to Atlanta, did some good training for the week.
You were gone a full week,
Full
right?
week,
Okay.
yeah, full week of sitting in class all day, and there's some good things on the California water crisis, municipal water systems, pandemic, setting up EDS dispensing sites, so it was some good training.
So you learned a lot for the Board of Health.
We did.
Did you bring back some
And next year,
education?
if a board member decided they wanted to go, if there's enough room, if someone decide early, then a board member could also go.
Oh, yeah?
So,
Georgia?
Georgia, well, next year, it'll be in, hopefully San Diego or Houston.
I got no relation there. Charles, I got a sister.
Yeah, but I could use the company.
Yeah,
So, anyway, it was a good week.
it was worthwhile.
It was worthwhile, there was a lot of, but then the president showed up and we had to get out of there. So I had to sit at the airport for 4.5 hours before
Which president?
President Trump.
He did?
Yeah. He was there at the NRA convention and in downtown Atlanta. So we had to, they were protesters, so we had to skirt out of there. So I had to sit at the airport for most of the day, so. And then when I get to the airport, it ran, so my wife didn't have to park, and she'd have to go around. I caught her just as they were telling her to leave, and boom, it was perfect, so.
That worked out.
It worked out good, so. Other than that,
All set?
I'm all set.
Anything else?
No.
No?
No? Good. John Jordan, you're all set? You missed most of it.
I'd like to thank John Jordan while he's here.
Yes,
We all
thanks,
would.
John.
Hey, we got a much prettier person over there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
This is 47 signed. List in front.
For the record,
47, are those legal now?
Yeah.
I mean, these people
47
have
signed.
signed on the dot, they can't retract it?
And there's the
Mineral Lane, Beachfront Road, Berry Corner Road, thanks to the Whitings, Mr. John Jordan,
and
anyone else
a
who
lot of other
participated.
folks in the area, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring these down to Robin and hand them to her as soon as this meeting ends.
Good, there's no copies.
Oh, I'm not gonna hand them to her then. Sorry, Robin, but I'm gonna make copies first.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, John.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
job on that.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent effort.
Okay, make a
Thank you.
motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.